If you wanted to buy a can of Coke right now, it'd probably cost you, what, $1 or $2? But picture this. You're standing on the edge of a 200-foot ice cliff in the middle of Antarctica. That exact same can, it's going to cost you $40. Welcome to the world of the ultimate escape. We're not talking about your standard 5-star hotels with, expensive sheets and a mint on the pillow. We're talking about places so wildly remote, they literally don't even appear on most maps. In this explainer, we're looking at the astonishing logistics required to survive in absolute comfort at the very ends of the Earth.
And yeah, you heard me right, $40 for a single can of Coke. Why? Well, because the logistics of getting that one little can to an exposed rock peak in the Antarctic are just staggering. Today, we're going behind the no-entry signs to see exactly how the world's elite disappear and how they keep their champagne perfectly chilled while they do it. Okay, let's dive into this concept right away. To make our countdown today, a location absolutely has to follow what I like to call the rule of exclusion. See, this isn't just about throwing a ton of money at a vacation. It's a whole different standard of luxury, defined by near impossible logistical hurdles. Our countdown today focuses on places with intentionally broken Wi-Fi, absolute zero menus, and incredibly rare blue ice runways. It's all about the logistics of absolute total isolation.
Coming in at number 5, we have North Island Custom Isolation.
Tucked away in the stunning Seychelles archipelago in the Indian Ocean, this hidden spot actually gained global fame when Prince William and Princess Catherine chose it for their honeymoon. Managed by luxury safari operator Wilderness Safaris, it operates on a really unique, strict, no-menu policy. Now, I know what you're thinking. In most restaurants, a lack of a menu might be a huge red flag. But here, it is the ultimate flex. There are no menus because the chef personally interviews every single guest to figure out their exact tastes. Then, they build these bespoke, tailored daily meals entirely based on whatever was harvested that very morning.
And the environment you get to enjoy this food in, just incredible. The scale is monumental. We're talking just 11 massive villas, each coming in at around 4,850 square feet. Want that tailored meal as a romantic champagne picnic on a private beach? Done. Guests just jump into their own private electric 4x4 beach buggy, which comes with every single villa, by the way, and navigate through the lush, unspoiled jungle to find their absolute perfect secluded spot.
Moving right along to number 4, Musha Cay, Magical Archipelago.
Look, if you think owning a single private island is fancy, try owning 11 of them. Musha Cay is a 700-acre private archipelago in the Bahamas, and it's owned by the legendary illusionist David Copperfield. So, how do you even get to a private archipelago? Let's trace the journey for elite guests. Step 1. You're flying into Great Exuma Airport, probably on a private jet. Step 2. You transfer via a 20-minute private flight or a highly scenic boat ride. But honestly, if you're a real player in this world, you bypass all of that and just dock your 200-foot super yacht directly in Copperfield Bay. It actually has protected deep-water docking built specifically to accommodate massive vessels.
Because this island is owned by an illusionist, Copperfield spent years transforming it into what he calls the most magical place on Earth. The entire place is literally designed like a magic trick. There are 40 private beaches, some of them are even rumored to be secret, along with magical surprises hidden all throughout the landscape. He even installed this stunning, state-of-the-art, 2-story outdoor cinema screen right there on the sand. And of course, Copperfield's personal touch is everywhere, especially in the massive 10,000-square-foot high-view villa. It deliberately sits atop the island's highest hill just so you can casually survey your entire 700-acre kingdom.
Down to number 3, Necker Island, Exclusive Resilience.
We're heading over to the British Virgin Islands to Sir Richard Branson's 74-acre private retreat. Now, this location perfectly illustrates the sheer logistical nightmare of operating at this insane level of luxury. Picture this. You have a maximum of 48 guests allowed on the island at any one time. But to actually run the place, it requires a dedicated staff of 120 people. That is a staggering nearly 3-to-1 staff-to-guest ratio. This massive team includes professional chefs, spa therapists, water sports instructors, all there to perfectly orchestrate every single scuba lesson, meal, and tennis match. But what makes Necker Island truly fascinating is its history of resilience. Branson bought it completely deserted in the late 1970s for a mere $180,000. Since then, it has survived some truly incredible disasters. In 2011, a massive fire tore through the main house. Then, in 2017, the Category 5 Hurricane Irma almost completely leveled the island. But here's the thing. After every single disaster, The island was rebuilt better, stronger, and more luxurious than before, adding even more of that undeniable swagger to its legacy.
And as you might guess, that legacy comes with quite a bill. The peak nightly cost for exclusive use of this elite, highly resilient fortress? An eye-watering $122,000 per night. Yeah, let that sink in.
All right, number 2, Sheldon Chalet, Glacier Solitude.
Goodbye, tropical islands. Hello, freezing extremes. Welcome to the Sheldon Chalet in Alaska, perched at an unbelievable 6,000 feet in elevation. Now, to really understand this property, you have to understand a geological rarity called a nunatak. Basically, it's an exposed rock peak jutting directly out of a glacier. This 5-acre property sits right on a nunatak above Denali's Ruth Glacier. Get this, it is the absolute only privately owned land in all of Denali National Park. There are no roads, no trails, no neighbors for 100 miles in any direction. It is accessible exclusively by helicopter.
The Sheldon family has actually been welcoming guests to this exact spot since 1966, but the experience has changed, well, drastically. The original property was this rugged, humble 212-square-foot hut with a wood-burning stove and an outhouse, but the 2014 rebuild? That represents a massive logistical triumph. They literally built a luxury 5-bedroom chalet on a glacier, complete with a private chef, an observation deck, and, critically, indoor plumbing, which, by the way, is definitely not guaranteed and incredibly hard to achieve at this kind of elevation.
So what do you actually get for the $32,000 nightly rate, which, mind you, requires a 3-night minimum? Well, you get intentional disconnection. There is absolutely zero Wi-Fi here. You are paying nearly $100,000 to completely disconnect from the rest of the world. Instead of doom scrolling on your phone, guests are taking beginner courses in snow caverns spelunking, viewing the aurora borealis, and having bonfires right on the helicopter landing pad. It is the ultimate leave-me-alone destination.
And finally, number 1, Whichaway Camp Polar Extremes.
We have officially arrived at the ultimate remote destination on Earth. Sitting at the very bottom of the world is White Desert's Whichaway Camp, perched right on the edge of a 200-foot rock and ice cliff in Antarctica. Remember that rule of exclusion we talked about earlier? This completely defines it. The access logistics here are simply insane. 99% of Antarctica is covered in ice, making it incredibly hostile to travel. So to get here, you have to take a 5-hour private Gulfstream flight from Cape Town, South Africa, and then you land on the Wolf's Fang Blue Ice Runway. Blue ice runways are incredibly rare and require perfect, highly specific glacial conditions just to be safe enough to land a jet on.
But the wild logistics don't stop once you land. Operating a luxury camp in the most pristine environment on Earth requires some extreme environmental logistics. White Desert is the only carbon-neutral operator on the entire continent, relying heavily on solar arrays and low-energy systems. And their waste management? 100% of it. Every single scrap of waste, every leftover, is flown all the way back to South Africa for responsible disposal. Absolutely zero is left behind in Antarctica.
During the extremely short Antarctic summer, the camp is open and bathed in 24-hour daylight. For a starting price of roughly $48,000, a maximum of just 12 guests get to stay in these high-tech luxury pods with glass conservatories overlooking the icefall, and the itinerary is just surreal. You can visit the geographic South Pole, the literal lowest point on Earth. You can view a staggering 20,000-strong colony of emperor penguins, go fat tire biking directly on glacial ice, and explore completely natural ice tunnels sculpted by the harsh elements. It's a totally otherworldly experience that only a tiny handful of people on the planet will ever get to have.
As we wrap up this explainer, we've seen private islands with 3-to-1 staff ratios, luxury chalets built on glaciers, and carbon-neutral pods sitting on the edge of an Antarctic ice cliff. It really begs the question about the true value of these logistical miracles. When a can of Coke costs $40 to deliver, and a 3-night stay costs almost $100,000 just to lose your Wi-Fi signal, are the world's elite truly paying to experience everything luxury has to offer, or are they simply paying a massive premium to escape everyone? I'll leave you to think on that. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.